Welcome to The Money Hour with host Tina Mitchell and co-host Keelan Harvey. Tina Mitchell, MLO 145420, and Keelan Harvey, MLO 1330075, are licensed loan originators with Gateway Mortgage Group, LLC, and MLS 7233. The views expressed by the speakers on the following program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views of Gateway Mortgage Group, LLC, nor are they necessarily endorsed by Gateway Mortgage Group, LLC. Now, in the studio, local mortgage experts Tina Mitchell and Keelan Harvey.
Welcome to the Money on 11:50 a.m. KKNW, the Saturday, November 2nd show. I am your host, Tina Mitchell.
And I am your co-host, Keelan Harvey.
We are your local mortgage experts, bringing in expert advice and inside knowledge on today's events in our local economy and how it will affect your money. If you're hearing our show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast, but we're here to answer any questions or connect you with the guests that we have on the show today. Please call the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. And the lineup for today's show, we have Kim Fraser of John L. Scott, how to successfully market your home for sale to get maximum exposure. Also in studio, Catherine White of Accelerated Results 365. Accelerate your business growth with power. That's with a double R. Our last guest in studio is Jeff Dickinson of eXp Realty, the new HomeSTAR home ownership grant program. Great information and great guest in studio, just as we have each week. If you want to connect with our guest, you can call the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. And today, I think, Keelan, we'll start out with a little
money chat.
Money.
Yeah, it's awesome, Keelan. Coming into studio here, this place, I tell you, behind the scenes of radio in general, not just our show, but the many shows here and all the people that they have here at the studio, they have so much fun and they play and work together, and seeing all these amazing costumes as we're coming into studio today for a recording for the Halloween day, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if we're allowed to tell them that we pre-record, are we?
Well, I just did for today, but yeah, I know.
So it's Halloween today, guys, for us. And well, there's all kinds of amazing costumes running around behind the scenes. And you got, of course, radio, good personalities and things. So we've had a lot of fun already.
We have.
And speaking of, I got caught. Our listeners are going to grow up in London, I'm realizing, as
I know,
she gets
I think
older.
it's so beautiful.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I got caught the other day. I had a dad fail. So she, of all things she wanted to be...
Hashtag dad fail.
Yeah, hashtag dad fail.
Love it.
She wanted to be Cindy Lou Who from The Grinch. I don't know why she likes The Grinch. She's like stuck on The Grinch, the one, especially the Jim Carrey one. It's like her jam when she was young. So she's like, Dad, I want you to be the Grinch. I'm going to be Cindy Lou Who, and then Mom's going to be Max the dog.
Yeah. Angela.
And she's not having the dog, and I thought it was cool, but she wasn't a fan. So she's going to be Martha May. And we got busy, and I'm thinking, she doesn't know. She's like 3.5 or 5. Yeah. So I got this little corny Grinch like hat. It's literally like a fuzzy hat. And then she wakes up, and she comes out, and I heard this third party through my wife. She's, Mom, I need to talk to you right now. I need you to come in here and talk to me. And she brings her into the room, and she says, you guys didn't buy costumes, did you? And it's like a day out. I can't even Amazon. I can't do anything. So, Dad, a mad dash to every store I could find in Bellevue. I managed to get a Grinch onesie.
Yeah, it was
Boom.
very cute.
Dad for the win. And then I came home yesterday and I wore it. And I came home and she just lit up this big smile. But by the skin of my teeth, that child knew exactly what is going on.
She's a smart kid. She's got you and Angela as parents.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to make an announcement because it's really important. The Federal Reserve cut rates for the third consecutive time on Wednesday, but are not making any promises on the fourth cut. But again, I want to remind you that mortgage interest rates are not attached to what the feds are doing with the Fed's fund rate, which affects the prime. Prime typically is 3% over where the Fed's fund rate is. They've dropped it. They were saying around 1.5 to 1 3/4. Prime right now is at 4 3/4, and it dropped from 5%. So if you look back at the Fed cutting rates 3 times, first in July of 2019, again in September 2019, and now the most recent drop, which was on Wednesday, mortgage rates have actually moved up and down, ranging a difference of 0.3% from September to today. So Just a reminder again, mortgage interest rates are not based on what the feds are doing with prime. It's for short-term lending that your credit cards are going down, guaranteed. Car loans, home equity line of credits are short-term. Those are based. But mortgage rates, it just really depends. The Fed's role, again, is to maintain a balanced market and to manage inflation. And whether they do a good job or not, the bond market, which mortgage rates are based on the Fannie 30-year bond and how it trades, the bonds are trading positively if the economy is not confident. Investors pull out of the stock market to go into the bond market, so bonds benefit, rates go down. If there's lack of confidence or there's strong consumer confidence, they're investing in the stock market. Bad for bonds, interest rates are going up. So that's a little there. But I want to get off the prime here, because every news media is talking about it. And I'm just going to tee into Keelan in spirit of Halloween and what happened. We were listening to the show. It's after Halloween, but we're going to go with it. Anyways, I do a girls' night out for my best referral partners. We just go out and have a lot of fun together. And Victoria, our director of marketing, which is here in studio every day, you don't get to hear her because she's behind with the camera, getting all the action shots and all of that great stuff. But she planned this amazing trip, and we've done it before, and we rented a limo, but she decided that she was going to rent a limo party bus. And when I saw the bus out there, I was like, oh, man, where's our limo? And then you look inside, and it is awesome because it looks just like a limo inside, but so much better. And it has so much room. All the women could stand up and dance. Next year, we'll get a little stripper pole in there. But it was crazy. So what we did is we take it to the Buckley, and the first where we did it, I just asked Victoria, hey, can you find somewhere to go far away for a haunted house? So she's like, far away? Okay, we'll go to Buckley. So we drive an hour and a half in traffic to Buckley, and it gives us great time to have some bonding, a couple cocktails here and there, maybe a shot of Fireball. Jeff was talking about that before we started in studio today. And then we go to the scariest haunted house in Washington State. It is crazy scary, and we all made it out alive. A couple of the women, they didn't go in, and previous years they've actually left in the exits when they have the opportunity to leave to do so, but they come back because the limo ride is so cool. And then Victoria and I, we call it our love child. We picked up Theater Sparkles, which is a big, huge teddy bear. We're at the grocery store picking up alcohol for the trip on the way home, and Victoria sees this big, humongous teddy bear, and I was like, okay, lift me up. So I get up on her hands, and she's like tiny, and I jump on her hands, and I get Theodore, and he has sparkles all over him. So his name's Theodore Sparkle. We're going to bring him in studio maybe, but he's definitely going to be hanging out with us on Girls Night Out. So
luckiest bear I've seen. 10 inebriated women
you see
on a
all
party
the
bus, and just
you saw
bear.
the makeup all over his his snout there. It was so awesome.
You guys are awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah. Anyways, that's Money Chat for you. But we're going to be coming back to the Money Hour, how to be successful marketing your home for sale and getting maximum exposure with Kim Fraser of John L. Scott right here at 1150 a.m. KKNW after this short break.
Are you tired of wasting your hard-earned dollars on rent to pay off someone else's home and at the same time losing out on the tax benefits in the process? Kim Fraser with John L. Scott has assisted over 800 individuals and families just like yours in obtaining the dream of home ownership. Kim has been practicing real estate since 2002 and is recognized in the top 1% of all real estate brokers. Kim is well equipped to assist you whether you are a first-time buyer or a move-up buyer looking to achieve your real estate goals.
Hi, I'm Kim Fraser, and I would love to assist you with your real estate needs. Please feel free to call me at 425-209-5638, or you can find me online at KimberlyFraser.com.
You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, and co-host Keelan Harvey on Alternative Talk AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage experts Tina Mitchell and Keelan Harvey.
Welcome back to the Money Hour on 1150 a.m. KKNW, the Saturday, November 2nd show. I am your host, Tina Mitchell.
And I'm your co-host, Keelan Harvey.
You're local mortgage experts. It is a great day to talk about money, and that's what the show is all about. How to make money, save money, so you can have a better quality of life for you and your family. If you're hearing our show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast, but you can call the show at 1-855 400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com, and we can connect you with the guests that we have on the show today. In studio, our first guest, welcoming back Kim Fraser of John L. Scott, How to Successfully Market Your Home for Sale to Maximize Exposure. Kim, thank you so much for coming back in studio.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and a little bit about Kim. Kim Fraser is a realtor with John L. Scott, Bellevue Main office. As a top producing realtor since 2002, Kim has sold over 1,100 homes in primarily King and Pierce counties. Kim has been recently recognized in the top 1% of realtors with John L. Scott, Washington State, as well as the entire U.S. Kim and her team offer a comprehensive marketing plan and full service and representation. Feel free to reach out to Kim if you are looking to buy or sell in Western Washington.
Kim, let's talk about why somebody would want to take the time to interview several agents as opposed to just kind of jumping in the pot. I know people just kind of hop online and grab somebody, and there's a lot of great agents out there, especially you. Why would they want to do that?
Well, I think it's important there are a lot of different agents and different companies and other different services that are included. Some you pay more for, some you pay less for. You have discount brokerages that take a little bit bigger piece of the pie these days. You've got iBuyer options. There are just a lot of options these days for consumers. I think it's important. I offer full service to my clients, so we invest a lot of money and time into marketing our clients' properties. I have friends who are in the business that do a lot more minimal, getting them in. And I interviewed with a couple last week, and the commission structure was very fair, probably a little bit less than what actual market would be. And they, I think, still had a little sticker shock, even though Mike was much more competitive. And I encouraged them, for what we were offering. I said, interview some other agents, see what other companies offer, and then come back to me. We can have another conversation. But I think it's important because there are so many. Some agents do a lot, and some agents do very little. And so it's important to get the best value and the best fit for you on your property.
Yeah, great advice, Kim. And you know that you are one of the best if you're advising your clients to be talking with multiple agents before they hire you. Kim, what about reviews and the importance of reviews and why that's so important to take a look at reviews before hiring your agent?
Well, I think it's good. You want to, number one, you want to hire someone that you can relate to and you have a good rapport with. There are a lot of different personality types out there. I have more of a type A personality, and I'm kind of a chameleon where I can, interact with a lot of different types of people. But occasionally, you're going to have personalities that are going to kind of not mesh, and it's good. You want to find someone that you mesh with, but someone who has a proven track record of results. And we were all new agents at one point, and I think obviously the more experience you have, the stronger. Not that new agents aren't strong. I mean, I felt like I was a good agent when I was a new agent.
Likewise.
However, it's just there's some learning curves there, but it's important to get somebody who's got maybe some experience in the neighborhood that you live in. You don't want somebody who's never sold a home, like maybe in your neighborhood. So I think referrals are important for that. To kind of get somebody who you're going to mesh with and someone that you can call and kind of bounce some questions off of.
Yeah.
Kim, you mentioned about marketing, and that's so important, obviously, when you're listing a home or selling a home. Why is it important to set a marketing timeline?
Well, I think it's even more important today. The market's shifted in the last couple of years. So the expectations, so many of my sellers are in a 2015, 2016 mindset where they list their house, especially in the east side in Seattle, and you get multiple offers and it's 20% above list price and it's all cash and they live in Shanghai. That's not the case anymore. And so we have a huge, about 50% reduction in foreign investment year over year. The Chinese government's cracked down a ton. So those of us in the Seattle and East Side market, most of my buyers are not from abroad. I would say 40 to 50% of them a couple of years ago were. Yeah. So that has had a huge impact on the upper and luxury in the East Side primarily. So it's creating longer market times. Normally you'd list a house on a Thursday and we'd have 10 offers on Saturday and half of them cash, and which is not good in the mortgage business because then we weren't financing anything back then.
That's no fun.
You'd make 10 pre-approval letters and no one would get a house. So because they were all cash buyers. But so with that being said, with that segment being pulled out, we're seeing, 30 and 60-day market times on the east side. So people would, as agents, you like to see a 106-month listing agreement. A lot of people would be like, well, let's do 60 days or 90 days. Well, if the house is going to sell in 4 days, it wasn't a big deal. Yeah. But now if we have 60 to 90-day market times and people sometimes have the expectation that their house is going to sell for multiple offers. And it takes a while. There's an education process. So if you have a 60 or 75-day market time, you need longer than a 90-day contract. So that 180 days, I think, should be pretty standard, especially the, maybe more crowded the market is in that marketplace. You might just want to prepare yourself. It's not uncommon now to have 60 to 90-day market times.
Yeah, make sure that you're asking your agent for that data, because as a seller, you can know exactly what's going on in the market, and you can be prepared. Instead of, a lot of times sellers are not getting the data, their agents aren't sharing it because they're not asking for it, whatever the reason is, and they're feeling, why is this happening? And so get the data. You can know exactly what's going on in the market right now today when you're selling. So let's talk about, Kim, first steps to preparing to put your home on the market. What would those be?
Absolutely. So you want your house to show in its best light day one, be market ready. So decluttering, making sure your house, shows well. You don't have a lot of excess stuff. You don't want to look like a hoarder when people show up to the house. One of the services I offer my clients, I go to Home Depot or Lowe's and pick up 50 or 100 boxes and drop them off,
Nice.
and try to help them out a little bit, get ahead of the game. You want your landscaping to kind of pop when they walk up. Curb appeal is huge. You want them to feel like they want to walk through the front door of your home. Smelling good, not smelling like pets, have candles on, lights on, fresh coat of paint, painting your trim, painting your front door, inexpensive things that'll make a difference. Making sure it's deep. There's some deep cleaning going on. I've had some clients where there were some sketchy bathrooms, and that never shows well. Definitely. We also offer complimentary cleaning prior to listing for my clients. We come in and do a deep clean. I don't personally. We hire someone to come in and do deep clean just to kind of take that pressure off the client.
Well, emotionally, when you're in the subconscious, maybe even, you're just thinking, wow, if they can't keep the bathrooms clean, this is a big item that could have issues if they're not maintaining and taking care of that.
Absolutely.
And as a human being, you get a feeling when you get into places.
Exactly.
If the
Motion
landscape's
is a big
great and
thing.
the smells, the crispness of it, it's a feeling that you have. And if you feel good about it, then you're probably going to be more likely to put an offer in, right?
One time I was showing a house and there was a pile of garbage in the garage, heaped to the ceiling. But before that, I'd been trying not to touch anything with my hands. And so I had my jacket pulled over my hands and I was flipping the light switches with my jacket. And my client was like, I saw that. So I was like, sorry. I was like, this isn't the house for you.
Yeah.
So I was afraid to touch anything.
Just being real, it's kind of dirty.
Yeah, it's gross.
So with that being said, why is it so important to stage your home prior to listing it?
Well, you want people to envision themselves living in the property. So you want to take down your personal items, personal effects. I had a client one time, if we ever talked about this before, they like nude statues everywhere. Pictures, statues. I walked in and fairly new agent, less than a year in the business. I'm like, how do I address this?
Awkward.
But yeah, really. I'm like, can we put a dress on her? So, so after a few, I try to delicately let them know. So it's important to have, some people are very large connoisseurs of art and nude art. That's important to take that down as well as your personal family photos.
Yeah.
Because you never know. I mean, the one person came in and they were very, very religious and they were very offended, and the wife did not make it through the front door. The husband ran through really fast, but so you want to, so that's part of the depersonalization. Yeah.
And I know it's a challenging conversation sometimes for you as an agent to be able to, get in, you have to get into people's personal life and say, hey, I'm not, nothing offensive, but we need to just make this neutral completely.
Absolutely.
Right?
And it's, I think the more experience you have, the easier it is to have that conversation.
Of course.
When I was a newer agent, I didn't want to hurt people's feelings.
Yeah.
But then it ended up eventually coming out. And so you're trying to help them, but you end up hurting them in the process if you're not honest up front.
Of course. So let's talk about the importance of professional photography when selling a home.
So the importance of that, everything's online now, number one. 20 years ago, before everything was online, it wasn't as big of a deal. You did a broker's open, people showed up at the broker's open, you did an open house, and there was no MLS and there was MLS, but there was nothing online. There was no Zillow.
You did
no
have
Scott.
you did have the big books with flyers in there.
Yeah, that would be a big book, but you didn't have extensive photos, so it wasn't as big of a deal back then when I was selling my first house. But it's important today. You want to have clear, crisp pictures, good angles, good lighting, making sure that you don't have glare coming through your windows, shooting at the right time of day. I see agents today and now I have the brand new iPhone, the really fancy one, and that takes fabulous photos, but I would never take listing pictures with it.
Of course.
And so and we have all of our stuff photo edited. It's all done overseas, and it comes back, and it's not even like just with my nice camera. So everything's taken with overexposure, underexposure, 7 photos sent off. Like we just did a shoot yesterday. There's 350 photos that got sent to Vietnam for photo editing, and
That's
they were
crazy.
back this evening. Yeah, so it's important to make sure that you have crisp, good imagery, good angles.
Yeah.
You don't want things to look pigeonholed or long and narrow and dark. And
Yeah.
it's really important.
So I've seen that this, technology is getting amazing, but far in between, you see these 3D tours, which are so cool because you can get kind of a feel of what it actually, like the layout, and when you're looking on it online, and I'm sure you're more enticed to check it out,
Absolutely.
and because you have a better feel for it. Why is that important, and what are the benefits of doing that?
Yeah, so we've been doing 3D tours for probably 4 or 5 years now. We actually purchased our own Matterport camera. That's the most common camera that you use for a 3D tour. You start on the lowest level of a home. Every 4 to 5 feet, it takes a 360-degree picture for the whole property, and you can go in closets, out of closets, everything, multiple floors. So literally,
Sweet.
I can go into a house, and we link it to everything. So they can go in and they can walk through the whole house. They can run a cursor, or we can set it up where it automatically walk the person through the house. You can go vertical to, floor to ceiling. You can see everything, and the image qualities, I'm on my second camera, is really, really crystal clear. The other thing too, it'll do like a dollhouse imprint. So it'll show you how the house stacks on top of each other, and it'll also show you a floor plan of, looking straight down into it. You can hit a button and it'll zip you into a room. You can hit back out on the dollhouse and zip back out. But those can be seen internationally. We put those like on our Tour Factory website, our Zillow profile, everything. So then consumers can see that. And sometimes people buy, from out of the country, out of the state, but they can actually, and it's really easy for agents to, send that over to people, and the consumers can see it.
Yeah, so cool with technology. So let's talk about the wide range of marketing that you do and the importance with that, Kim.
Yeah, so we start off, we do cinematic photography. We actually shoot a 2 to 3 minute actual video of our property as well. And we do Matterport on all of our properties. Everything is shot with professional photography. It's really important to have high speed photography. We also do high quality print materials, whether it's a 250 condo or a $2.5 million listing of mine. My print material is the same all the way through, so it's consistent branding for myself as well as a consumer.
Sure.
And if you do it all the time as an agent, you're not having to like recreate all of a sudden, oh my gosh, I've got a $2 million listing. What am I going to do? A $1 million listing. Everything's the same. So it ends up being that my lower end properties end up getting much, much better quality than typical because I just keep it consistent throughout, what I would do on a luxury property as well. Social media is big, Instagram, Facebook. I've got not only my personal pages, but we can promote within a community. So in each community, you can do a radius search. Now, Facebook expanded. It's about a 10-mile radius search. So when your agent goes out and you're promoting your open house, all of your videos, landing pages, stuff like that, you can do an extensive search when it comes on the market and get more traffic driven to your listing as well.
Yeah.
So those are all things that are helping drive traffic.
That's fantastic. And you keep a theme, and unfortunately we're down to a minute, unfortunately, but one of the things that keeps coming up is international buyers, which is really cool. Obviously with that leverage, it can create a lot more power. Talk to us a little bit about your international buyers and how you connect with them.
Yeah, so we have a company. So a lot of our international buyers are typically here coming from India with like Microsoft or more in the tech industry, or China as been our primary driver of the market. GY is a website similar to Zillow in China because there's firewalls there. They're very particular on what information they let in and let out of there. So that's a website that I actually I do additional subscription to, so I can target all of my listings to those buyers in that market. This week I got a $500,000 and $1 million buyer from China that just from my extra stuff coming through GY. So it's just an extra service that I subscribe to. And then a lot of us brokers, Luxury Portfolio International, they have print and web. And if it's over $1 million in King County, automatically kind of gets swept over there anyway, or Pierce County. But those are just some additional avenues there that we kind of use to get those buyers.
That is awesome,
So
Kim.
cool,
And
yeah.
it's great to see a successful agent, what it takes to be successful, and all the extra things that you're doing to help your clients be successful, buyer or seller side. Thank you so much, Kim, for coming back in studio. It's always a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
And coming up next, accelerate your business growth with P.O.W.E.R.R. That's with a double R. Catherine White, Accelerated Results 365, right here at 11:50 a.m. KKNW after the short break.
Do you feel overwhelmed by the numerous demands of running your business? Do you think your competitors have an advantage over you? Do you envision the possibility of having a consistent flow of money pouring in? Catherine M. White with Accelerated Results 365 provides business professionals like you innovative tools for building effective business processes using her signature program P.O.W.E.R.R with 2 R's to help you master the 4 key components of a thriving business: money, marketing, mindset, and movement. With her system, you'll feel empowerment in building your business, develop a strategy for outsmarting your competition, and learn methods for efficiently managing and growing your money. Catherine's clients have gained a new outlook on their business, learned new approaches for simplifying their processes, and doubled their client base and revenues.
This is Catherine M. White with Accelerated Results 365. To learn more about my company and how I can help you create an efficient method for growing your business, go to my website at acceleratedresults365.com to schedule a consultation or call 206-422-4450.
You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, and co-host Keelan Harvey on Alternative Talk AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage experts Tina Mitchell and Keelan Harvey.
Welcome back to the Money Hour on 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, November 2nd show. I am your host, Tina Mitchell.
And I am your co-host, Keelan Harvey.
We are your local mortgage experts. We're here to help you build a strong financial blueprint, 1 week and 1 show at a time. If you're hearing our show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast, but we're here to answer any questions or connect you with the guests that we have on the show. Please call the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. In studio right now, we have Catherine White of Accelerated Results 365. Accelerate your business growth with P.O.W.E.R.R. That's with a double R. So excited to have a conversation with you, Catherine. Thank you so much for joining us in studio today.
Thank you, Tina. It's a pleasure to be here.
Wonderful. And a little bit about Catherine. Catherine M. White is the founder of Accelerated Results 365. She is also an author, a speaker, and the creator of P.O.W.E.R.R with a double R. As an innovative business coach and consultant with over 20 years of expertise in finance and business management alongside dual coaching certifications, Catherine brings her clients unique tools for building effective business processes using her signature program, P.O.W.E.R.R with a double R, which is comprised of 4 key components that you need to master in order to build a thriving business: money, marketing, mindset, and movement. Catherine's philosophy is small, compounded efforts lead to large, exponential results. Hey, that sounds a little familiar.
It does. I love that. And it makes, it's huge. Can you expand on that for our listeners, please, Catherine?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, this is true for every area of our life. I'm going to speak specifically in the area of business. When I'm working with a client, they tend to get really frustrated if they're not moving fast enough or making big enough steps. And the point that I make here is that the smaller steps, taking little by little at a slower pace, will get you further a lot much quicker, which sounds like an oxymoron. Just like also the name of my business, Accelerated Results 365. And here I am promoting, take it slow, take it a little bit at a time. And so what happens when we try to jump into the big results too fast is we jump in being unprepared, or we jump in without having the proper expertise or knowledge or training, etc. And we end up hitting more roadblocks, larger roadblocks, and you're going to fall on your face probably a lot harder than if you just take those small steps a little bit at a time. And also what you find out as you're taking those small steps, when you feel like you're going at this snail pace, but when you stop and you take a moment to look back at what you've accomplished, that's when you realize, oh my goodness, I have done so much more than I realized I had done.
Yeah, it's my first professional core practice is rejoice in your small successes. Every small step matters in the biggest way. You can't leap up a flight of stairs. You've got to take one step at a time. And, as we were coming into studio, we were talking about the candy jar. Victoria, our director of marketing, was making a joke about it because she knows, my example I give. You can take a piece of candy at the receptionist desk or not? And is it okay to give yourself permission to do so? Well, if you do, you've given yourself permission to take that piece of candy now every time you go by, and that's going to have a ripple or a compound effect. So the good news is if you make the decision not to take it, the results are going to be much different. So the compound effect can work for you or against you. Love that. So what about your background? Share a little bit about your background with our listeners, Catherine.
Well, how far back do you want me to go?
As far as you want to go.
Really, I believe that our entire life, everything that we go through, all of our experiences, is a piece of what builds us up to what we are today. And that is definitely true in my case. As a young girl, I loved to play office manager or business owner or teacher. And I came from a large family. And so I had several siblings that I took care of or helped take care of. And I loved to sit down with them and pretend I was the boss or I was the teacher. And so that was really my first introduction to doing what I do. And then as I got into my older young years, when I was about 10, I learned how to make my own money. If you will, I had my own businesses in doing house cleaning, paper routes, babysitting. And so I learned at a young age to get out there and to make things happen. And so fast forward, I did go to college. And in college, I decided to get my degree in accounting. The reason for that was that I knew that I wanted to start my own business, and that seemed like a viable option. Over the years, I've worked in business in many different areas, getting to understand the different pieces of business from finance to HR to accounting. And I've taken all of these pieces, and then I've eventually ended up opening my own business.
Yeah,
exactly.
Love that.
Catherine, how did you land specifically in this line of work as a coach and a consultant?
That is a great question because 10 years ago, I had no idea that's what I was going to be. When I was in college and I knew I wanted to start my business, I had no idea that it would lead to this. And how that happened is really just part of my journey that I've been on over the years, and little by little taking those steps, trying to figure out, I know I want to do something, I'm not sure what, but continually educating myself, learning. And through the course of that experience, I eventually came to the point where I was introduced to coaching. And literally it was because I answered a survey on the internet. And it was about me being open to opportunities. What is this opportunity? Could this be what I'm looking for? So I completed this survey. I got a call. Somebody talked to me about this program for coaching training, and I knew instantly, this is it.
Yeah.
This is what I want to do, and I jumped right on board.
Exciting.
And since then, it's continued to evolve into now that I have this coaching certification and knowledge. Now I started bringing in all of my other experience in the business world with accounting and business management and finance, and I brought it all together under one roof.
And that's why, when you say every small choice that you're making, every little thing that you're doing for your business every day is continuing to grow into what it's meant to be. So let's talk about, you call yourself a coach and a consultant. So why do you call yourself both, and what's the difference between the two?
Well, most people will focus on one or the other. Either they're a coach or a consultant.
I call myself a coach.
And I found that in the business world, when I was coaching somebody, I was missing something. Or if I went to the consulting mode, I'm missing something. And the reason being is that as a coach, the primary role is to ask questions. It's to help the person, my client, discover what it is that they want, to set their goals, and to really find their own answers in how they're going to move forward. And consulting, on the other side, is about actually hands-on. I come in with ideas that you might not have thought of, or I bring resources or tools that you didn't know existed. And so I get to provide you with that and give you education and guidance in that area. And I with my clients, I feel they really need to have both sides.
Yeah. Well, with that, I'm definitely a consultant. I'm not a coach, but I'm really a mortgage person, but I have a coaching program as well, or a consulting program.
A woman of many hats is what
I
you
am
are.
definitely a woman of many hats.
That's a fact. We've been referring to power with a double R, and so I'm curious, what does that stand for? What's this double R power we're talking about here?
It's power.
Power. I see.
Exponential power.
I see. So it's an aggressive power.
Actually, what it is, it's my system that I developed to be a guide to help people accelerate in their business or their life. And what it stands for is P stands for possibility. And so I work with my clients to help them stretch their thinking and find what's possible. And I'm not talking about what they think is possible, but really, truly, how they can reach their true potential, which we typically, most of us don't have any clue what our true potential is. O is for outcome. And so I work with my clients in helping them determine what is the end result, although I say that end result loosely because really there is no end, right? We all,
Of course,
when we get there, we keep
growing
going.
and getting better. Yep.
Absolutely. W is for workable steps, going back to what we talked about, those small compounded effects or efforts. That's the steps that where we break it down into taking that big goal that may seem completely unachievable, and we break it down into the tiny little steps so that you can take those small steps and eventually get to that big goal. E is for environment, and creating an environment for yourself and for your team that's going to be conducive for success, that's conducive for achieving those goals. So it's really about empowering yourself and empowering others. And I get into also empowering your community, which I know, Tina, you're really big on. The first R is for resources. That's where I get to have fun with using the analytical side of my brain, and I get to look at an analysis of your business, what you're doing, and what can we do to make it more efficient or more effective, and what tools are available for that. And then the last R, that's the fun one that most of us overlook, and that is
Relax.
Well, relax can definitely be part of it.
Rest.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
The last R stands for rewards.
Oh, so important. Yeah, I love it. And yeah, reward. I mean, and that, yes, a lot of people forget that last piece of it. You're doing all of these things so you can ultimately get to the reward, whatever that is, more time for your family, more time for your community, more rest, more relaxation, more recreation. That would be mine. So yeah, it's beautiful. Tell us what the role of money, marketing, mindset, and movement play in the success of business.
Well, everything that you do in your business falls into one of these categories. Either it has something to do with money or marketing or mindset or movement. And sometimes it runs across multiple areas of this. So what I do is when I'm working with a client, I break down what we do in these 4 categories. And just in brief summary, when I'm talking to them about their money, I'm looking at how are you managing your money? Is it effective? Are you profitable? What is your cash flow like? And then also look at what are you doing to grow that money? And then, of course, marketing comes into play. What are you doing with your marketing? How are you marketing? Is it effective? Is it attractive? Is it attracting the right type of clients? And then I work with them on their mindset. And this is where the coaching piece really comes into play. Because as a business professional, really anybody can struggle with this mindset. As I said, none of us really understand what our true potential is. And so we have a tendency to create these stories about what's possible and what's not. And so I work with my clients in the area of their mindset and helping them see what truly is possible and get them thinking.
And that's important on the coaching side because that's where they have to voice it themselves in order for it to become real for them. So I love that. And what about movement?
Movement. Now, movement is a piece that most people or businesses really overlook and don't think about. And it's so important because with movement, when we're actively moving throughout the day, when we have a physical activity routine that we follow, it greatly impacts our mindset, which is going to then impact our success.
Yep.
And so while it's not my place or your place to dictate what somebody does physically for their physical activity, it is important for us in business to be able to educate our team about the benefits and importance of movement.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, Catherine, we're running out of time, and I know it goes so quick. But before we go, I would love to ask you, and I'm sure listeners are curious, what type of businesses do you work with typically?
Well, P.O.W.E.R.R is really effective in any business. I have found that for me, working with, or what I enjoy most working with, are businesses that are in the area of service, a type of service industry. So that could be contractors, cleaners, real estate brokers, insurance brokers, et cetera.
Mortgage
food service.
people.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. Those who really care about what they're doing and want to make a difference.
Yeah, so that's great. Well, Catherine, thank you so much for coming in and sharing with us. I love the coach versus consultant. I have to think about that one. It was a pleasure talking with you. Look forward to having you come back.
Thank you, Tina.
Coming up next in the Money Hour, the new HomeSTAR Home Ownership Grant Program. Jeff Dickinson of eXp Realty, right here at 1150 AM KKNW after the short break.
Do you feel overwhelmed by the numerous demands of running your business? Do you think your competitors have an advantage over you? Do you envision the possibility of having a consistent flow of money pouring in? Catherine M. White with Accelerated Results 365 provides business professionals like you innovative tools for building effective business processes using her signature program P.O.W.E.R.R with 2 R's to help you master the 4 key components of a thriving business: money, marketing, mindset, and movement. With her system, you'll feel empowerment in building your business, develop a strategy for outsmarting your competition, and learn methods for efficiently managing and growing your money. Catherine's clients have gained a new outlook on their business, learned new approaches for simplifying their processes, and doubled their client base and revenues.
This is Catherine M. White with Accelerated Results 365. To learn more about my company and how I can help you create an efficient method for growing your business, go to my website at acceleratedresults365.com to schedule a consultation or call 206-422-4450.
You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, and co-host Keelan Harvey on Alternative Talk AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage experts Tina Mitchell and Keelan Harvey.
Welcome back to the Money Hour on 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, November 2nd show. I am your host, Tina Mitchell.
And I am your co-host, Keelan Harvey.
We bring in studio each week the best of the best experts in all areas regarding your financing. We're here to help you build a strong financial blueprint. If you're hearing our show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast. We're here to answer any questions or connect you with the guests that we have on the show today. Please call the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. In studio right now, Jeff Dickinson of eXp Realty, the new HomeSTAR Home Ownership Grant Program. Jeff, thank you for coming back in studio. It's been a little while since we've had you here.
So glad to be here.
Yeah, excited about our conversation today as well. And a little bit about Jeff. Over the years, Jeff has been involved in the development of apartments, office buildings, residential condominiums, and self-storage facilities. His real estate practice includes extensive buyer and seller representation of residential properties throughout the Puget Sound region. Jeff is also the founder and director of Home Advantage Program, one of the most successful real estate teams. The primary focus is corporate employee representation with over 90 corporate clients, including Boeing, UW, King County, City of Seattle, and Harborview Medical Center. You have to be the best of the best. That's what the show is all about, bringing in the best of the best to get into corporations like this. And that's why Jeff is here with us in studio today.
Jeff, let's start out by talking about the HomeSTAR Grant Program. I know it's the title here, and so tell our listeners about it, and what is it all about?
Yeah, pretty excited to introduce this program. It's a program that's been in development for about a year now, and it's really designed to help make home ownership a little bit more affordable here in the Puget Sound.
And we definitely need more affordability
Right.
in here in the Puget Sound.
Absolutely.
So, Jeff, who backs the HomeSTAR grant?
So in 2012, I formed a nonprofit called Lifestyle Advance. And Lifestyle Advance is in business it's an education at work foundation, so it provides financial and health wellness.
Mm-hmm.
In February of this year, we were able to get our federal nonprofit charter changed so that we could offer homeowner grants. So it's really exciting.
That is so exciting, Jeff, and so impressive that everything that you've been able to do with your business and corporations, and now to have a grant program as well is amazing.
Which leads me to the question that I'm sure everybody's curious about. What do you have to do? I mean, what's the qualification requirements for this HomeSTAR grant?
So that's the cool part. So, most of us know about the Washington State Housing Finance Commission program, the Home Advantage program that offers up to 4% down payment assistance. This program actually goes out of those bounds a little bit. It can be used for, certainly for down payment, up to 1% of the purchase price of the home. But it can be used for so much more. One of the biggest things it's being used for now is to get the income to debt ratios, help them get more in line, or for a buyer to qualify for a little bit more. So we can actually use this to pay down or pay off debt before closing. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, and paying off debt before closing it can make a huge impact because it's dollar for dollar. So each dollar you pay off in monthly liabilities is a dollar more that you can purchase. And obviously, depending on the down payment, you're about $50 to $70 a month per $10,000, which includes property taxes, insurance, PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. So it can make a big impact. $60 could be $10,000 in price. Huge.
Absolutely.
So, Jeff, what's the average amount for the HomeSTAR grant that you're using?
Yeah, so it's been running between $3,000 and $9,000. So the average is running about $5,000 in our market.
Yeah, you do a lot with $5,000.
Yeah.
So,
paying off debt.
Yeah.
So I know the Washington State Housing Assistance Program, if you sell or refinance, you have to pay it back. How does it work with the HomeSTAR grant?
Yeah, this is really a non-recourse. So you're given the money from the nonprofit, and it doesn't have to be paid back. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that, does it? Yeah.
Yeah,
Free
that's awesome.
money.
And then, a lot of the down payment assistance, you're looking at the house key through the Washington State Housing Finance Commission. There's a potential recapture tax. The Home Advantage doesn't have it, but there are other programs do. So I'm assuming there's no recapture tax either.
No, this is a non-taxable event. IRS actually considers it an adjustment of the basis of the purchase price. So
yeah. So
win-win.
let's talk about where the grant is approved. Is it approved for Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and HUD for FHA financing?
It is. It does comply for, we'll talk the IPC or the interested party contribution side. It's certainly fully compliant. On the down payment side, which makes up a very small part of what we do thus far, we have to get the employer involved because that still is one of the small little loopholes in Fannie Mae and Freddie or in HUD's criteria. So what we do is we actually encourage the client to get their employer involved, and if they can help provide, Lifestyle Advance actually pays the employer back. But if it's an employer contribution, then it's all
so
acceptable.
basically, basically the employer is gifting the funds, and
Correct.
then through the program, it's getting paid back to the employer, so they're not out any money.
Exactly.
It's kind of like the old grants that are not available right now, but were before the financial meltdown, where the funds had to come from the seller. But there was nonprofit organizations that would pay it back to the seller. And so kind of the similar thing to fit within guidelines.
We're just not grossing up the purchase price to accommodate
That's very
that.
true, because that's exactly very good clarification there, because that's exactly what was happening.
So you kind of mentioned a little bit briefly about the HomeSTAR grant and what it could be used for as far as down payment assistance, and it sounds like you can expand on that a little bit. Can you elaborate?
Yeah, there's some other things that we've baked into the HomeSTAR grant that's pretty cool in a post-closed situation. So first of all, we have contracts with the major energy utilities, so they actually get a free energy audit of their home to figure out how to make their home more energy efficient, another opportunity to save. Number two is we're big professors and educators for mortgage acceleration, trying to educate them on finding ways of finding an extra $50 or $100, maybe $200-$300 a month and applying that towards their mortgage to take their mortgage down from 30 years typically to maybe 20, 15 years. So they're saving an average of about $53,000 on that event alone. So pretty excited.
So, Jeff, what else makes HomeSTAR grant different from other down payment assistance programs that are available in the market today?
Probably the biggest things are the qualifications. So we have no income qualifications. We have no requirement to be a first-time home buyer. So we are working with existing homeowners looking to buy up or buy down, things like that. So those are two real specific ones.
So they're the not having to be a first-time home buyer. There's a lot of options out there, but there's always income restrictions. Yep. How did you get around not having that? I mean, I guess this could be a whole show. And how did you put this together?
Yeah, so we get funds from both private and public entities that provide the money to make this all happen. So, I mean, literally just hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars worth. So that's why we have a lot more latitude than your typical state bond type nonprofits.
Jeff, well, you've gotten everybody pretty excited about this grant program. I know a lot of people with the affordability issues have tried other things and it doesn't work. Maybe this could be the answer for them. How the heck can people get some information to get in contact with you and with HomeSTAR and start getting the process of possibly getting the grant going?
Yeah, so a couple ways really quick. One is go into the website, so www.homestargrant.org, and you'll have additional contact information. We have a couple of grant advocates that can answer any questions that you might have, or email us at info@homestargrant.org.
So, Jeff, can this be used in conjunction with like a Washington State Housing Finance Commission down payment assistance program where you're using this grant to pay off debt for qualifying and then using the Housing Commission grant for the down payment?
Yes, we're using it a couple different ways. One, as you mentioned, paying off debt, or just as that 5% overlay. So you're getting 4% from the Housing Commission, and we're adding another percent to that, and almost creating pretty close to a zero down opportunity for some of these buyers.
Yeah, and what about how many consumers that you think that you've helped so far?
We've helped about 30 some right at the moment. Our goal is about 3,000 this coming year. So we're really in our infancy. So just spreading the word and getting the word out. So
it's so as our coach / consultant Catherine mentioned, it's the small steps that you take every day, and you just do one additional thing a little bit better tomorrow than you were yesterday.
Do you get kickback from the employers on this ever? I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of great companies that want to help their employees out there, but how's that response coming from employers? Just curious.
We're getting good response. So we have like Tacoma School District with their 5,000 employees are just really super stoked about this program.
Yeah. Well, and anytime you can have a better quality of life for your employees, you're going to be able to retain them with your company. And I mean, there's data everywhere that shows that. So the more the employers can do to keep their employees happy, they're going to be happier employees, which means they're going to be more productive. And if they're more productive, they're going to be liking their job more. And if they like their job more, it's less chance that they're going to leave and go somewhere else.
I would
Right?
agree.
Absolutely.
Is it 1% always, or is there anything?
No, it is 1%. We've
Okay,
we've
so every
just
time
tagged
it's
it.
1%.
Yeah, we've just tagged it to 1%. It's easy. Everybody can calculate 1%.
Which is a good chunk of change.
It's
It
a good
really
chunk of
is.
day. Wow, you
Yeah.
gotta- and so what about, is there a maximum, like, well, it obviously has to stay within conforming balances, but
right.
will it do the high balances as well if you've got a loan amount of $726,500 in King and Snohomish, Pierce County, or?
Yeah, we have done a few of the jumbos and super jumbos in the $900,000 range for some Microsoft and Amazon employees. So
Yeah.
far so good, but it is really on a one-off basis.
Yes.
So we have to make sure that the lender's on board.
Yeah, got it. So Jeff, as we're wrapping up our time here today, what would be a call of action if you're talking to someone that's listening today thinking about buying a property?
Well, I think it's a fantastic time to be buying property. We've had a little bit of the slowdown in the market, I feel, but interest rates are incredible and prices have come down a little bit. So I'd get out there and really take a strong look at it.
Yeah, great advice. And take a look before everybody else decides to take a look. And that's when we get through the holidays. So
exactly.
Get
That's
out
right.
there and take a look. Well, Jeff, thank you so much for coming back in studio. Always a pleasure to chat with you.
Thank you so much.
And this is your host, Tina Mitchell, signing off for the day.
And your co-host, Keelan Harvey.
And we'll be here, same time, same place, next weekend, right here at 11:50 a.m. KKNW. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Tina Mitchell, MLO 145420, and Keelan Harvey, MLO 1330075, are licensed loan originators with Gateway Mortgage Group, LLC, and MLS 7233. The views expressed by the speakers on the preceding program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views of Gateway Mortgage Group, LLC, nor are they necessarily endorsed by Gateway Mortgage Group, LLC.